Welcome to the 8th Annual Tri-State Megabucks Tournament of Champions. WNDS Sports and Tri-State Megabucks present Candlepin Stars and Strikes.
Oh, look at this. Look at this. He got it. Ready for a fair.
Candlepin Stars and Strikes is sponsored in part by Washington Toyota Dodge Nissan. Looks good.
Looks good. That's good to go. It's a
Candlepin Stars and Strikes is produced in conjunction with the New Hampshire Candlepin Bowling Association. And now your hosts, Doug Brown and Dan Burke.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to week number 2 of the 1996 Tri-State Megabucks Tournament of Champions. If you missed it last week, Don Richmond defeated Dan Broder 417 to 363. 417 is impressive enough by itself, but the way he reached that 417 is even more impressive. The last game, Don threw 9 consecutive marks, 8 spares and 1 strike, en route to a 169 to put that win under his belt and come back for week number 2. We got a lot of prize money to pass out. We also have that bonus ball contest at the end of the show, which is now $40 and a chance for maybe one of you at home to win a set of bowling balls, as well as that bowler if we can match that pinfall at the end of the show. Let's introduce the bowlers for this week. First, Don Richmond. We're looking for win number 2. Don averages 125, has a high single of 201, a high triple of 510. His roll-off score to qualify for the Tournament Champions, as I mentioned last week, is 373. His opponent this week, from Bedford, New Hampshire, Rich Clark. Rich carrying an average of 128. His high single, 192. High triple is 463. And his qualifying score to reach the Tournament of Champions course is 396. I guess that lays all the groundwork. Week number 2 of this year's Tournament of Champions. We'll take a short break. We'll get back, and Don Richmond will get us started. Okay, we're back, and this is how it shapes up. Last week, of course, Don Richmond defeated Dan Broder, 417-363, and that moves him up the ladder. This week, Rich Clark, winner of this match, will take on Tim Lipke next week. Joe Ashline the following week, and Bob Kelly, the number 1 seed, is waiting in the wings. So get us going today, Don Richmond. Can he pick up where we left off last week? That's a tall order. 9 consecutive marks. Opened with a strike and then 8 consecutive spares. That last game last week, just missing the 3-pin. $9. I mentioned Doug Brown's on assignment, but Doug sent me all kinds of different stats for pertaining to the Tournament of Champions, and I'll give you some of them. Food for thought, things that you can sit back and say, I didn't know that. We thought we had a shot at the high single last week with Don Richmond. And the tournament was 175. He had a 169 that last game. So he'll be open the first 2. First appearance for both bowlers in the Tournament of Champions, both Don Richmond and Rich Clark.
Come on, Rich, right off the bat.
It's a trivia question of who is the person who had the most appearances in the Tournament of Champions. That's too easy, so I won't let you have that one. Who's this runner-up? We know Paul Berger has been in every single one of them except this one. I'll give you a few minutes to think about who the runner-up is. I'll tell you he has 4 appearances. Spare up for Rich Clark. Actually, kind of gave you a hint. He only has 3. This year will be his 4th. I know, you're all home screaming. It's Joe Ashline. 90, 91, 94, and this year will be 96. Will be his 4th appearance. Rich Clark kicks out the 6-pin for a 7-drop on the spare. Trying to make it 2 in a row, and he does. Was able to negotiate that piece of wood for the 2, 4, and 7 to go 2 marks in a row. You see the scoreboard. Don Richmond for his 3rd and 4th frames. Don works at Copley Controls as an engineer technician. Does a lot of his bowling at the East Weymouth Bowlaway. 5 and 8 rather for Don. Just waiting for a piece of wood to settle down.
Okay, right back, Don.
28 after 3. There it goes. There it goes. First strike in the match off the ball of Don Richmond. Looked like he might have been left with that 4-pin, but a piece of wood came from the right all the way across the lane. And here it comes for the strike. Rich Clark working on a spare. Actually dropped that ball behind the foul line. Just 3 on the spare. Nice out by Rich Clark. 39 through 3. Rich is married. Wife's name is Cynthia. And 2 children, Lauren 4 and Brandon 2. He's the manager of Clark's Farm in Bedford. His wife Cynthia is in the audience today with his 2 children. This for a spare, just sliding by the head pin, the 5-pin. Make it a 10 and 49. Ball was breaking from right to left. Broke into the 1-3 pocket, but left himself the 5, 7, and 9. Looks like he may have to catch the 5-pin in the wood at the same time for the 7. No. Looks like he actually tried to split the 5 and 9. That's an 8 fill, though, on the strike. That might have been the shot. 56 at the halfway point. The 5-pin, the king pin. Spare up in the 6 by Don Richmond. Talking about the Tournament of Champion appearances, Paul Berg with 7, Joe Ashline has 4, Tom Morgan and Peter Flynn both have 3. Tom Morgan 92, 93, 95, and Peter Flynn 91, 93, 94. that close to a spare. Good effort by Rich Clark. Rich Clark was a #1 seed when he won his ladder championship. He defeated Joe Tavernese back in December of '95, 396, 362. And thus earning him a berth in the Tournament of Champions. 4, 8, 9, and 10. Piece of wood in front of the 9. Looks like Rich lost his balance a little bit there. One of our sponsors, been with us for years, is Rockingham Toyota Dodge Nissan, Route 97 in Salem. Interested in a new car? Down and speak to those great folks at Rockingham Toyota Dodge. Come to Salem and save. Wow. The 7-pin went over. I thought the 6-pin would be the one to topple over, but that moved over a couple inches. That's a 9 drop on his spare, though. Six-pin drop, and let's see, the 4, 5, 8, and 9 piece of wood next to the 5 and 9. Oh yes, 3 in a row by Don Richmond, and that wasn't an easy spare. Let's take a look at that one. Comes up high in that piece of wood and actually dances the 5-pin over into the 4. That's his 4th mark. 3 spares and a strike. Rich Clark opened up with a pair of spares, but it's been shut out since. Got a good chance here with a 4-7. Waiting for that wood to settle down. Oh. Cleared the 4-pin out, but the ball kind of deflected off that piece of wood. Didn't carry the 7-pin. So it's a 10 box and 77. Don Richmond increases his lead now to 14 pins. Once that 6-pin out of there, it does happen. 5 and 8 left, but a tough piece of wood out in front. Let's see where it settles down. That's going to be a roadblock. That close. Good effort. Never really know how the wood's going to react by coming up high like that. That was the shot. Well, if you're down in the vicinity of Park Place Lanes, stop into the restaurant, Willow Tree North. Breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Great food, great atmosphere. And as Mr. Brown would say, it's where the crew eats. And eats. And eats. Great place to visit. Stop in and see us. Triangle for Don Richmond. Another mark, 4 in a row, 4 spares. Gives him 108 now. Very nicely done in the triangle. 118 plus the bonus ball in the 9th. beginning to take a little command with this match early. 7-pin drop, 125. Five, 8, and 9, and let's see. He may have trouble with the wood as well. I think he can get by it though. It's going to be far enough to the left. Someone in the crowd says, "Hurry up, throw quick." Now the rule states you must let the wood settle down. He's got it. Very nicely done. He's finishing with 5 spares in a row and 6 marks overall. Let's take a look. Just gets by the front piece of wood. And there was no doubt after that. 135 and a bonus ball. How about a strike in the end? 145. That is unbelievable. He is in a groove. Oh yes, coming back. Actually see Rich release that ball prematurely. He was a little bit behind himself, which leaves the ball for a left-hander, leaves it to the left of the head pin, but he got a nice piece of wood as you see the replay coming back from behind the head pin for the spare. Good break there. Now he needs to cash in on it. Big Phil on another one. It's pretty good from here, but 7, 8, and 9. Now you just got to get as many pieces of wood moving as you possibly can. Looks to me like you'd have to go left-hand tip and have it come off the right sidewall, but let's see how Rich plays it. Yeah, that's what he's trying. Just slid by it.
Good idea, Rich. Good idea.
And it's a 9. And 113, so string number 1 is in the books. Don Richmond leading by 32. Let's see if Rich Clark can turn it around in string number 2. Rich Clark will get us started in the second game. Right through the middle. Oh, what an effort. Tried to split the 2-4 into the 3, 6, and 10. Caught the 10, but nothing came back for him. And a 10 box. Just a 6 box, so it's only 16 through 2 frames for the second game. Game for Rich Clark. Really needs some marks, trailing by 32. Don Richmond seemed no sign of letting up. Spare up in the first for Don. Interesting note, of all the contestants in this year's Tournament of Champions, they either were a number 2 seed or a number 1 seed. Nothing lower than a number 2 seed made the Tournament of Champions. Nine-pin drop, everything but the 6-pin, and he is picking up right where he left off last week. Ooh, pulled that one left. You could tell by his body English he knew he wouldn't put the ball where he wanted to, but maybe there was a slim hope that the wood would catch it. Next week's challenger doesn't get any easier for either one of these bowlers. Whoever wins this match, Tim Lipke comes in. And a spare for Rich Clark in the third. A much needed mark. A little bit late with his delivery there. You could tell by sitting right behind him. Just 5 on the spare, 31 through 3. You heard it. Nice try is right. Split the 1 and 3, sent the head pin down in between the 4 and 7, but got just the 4 pin. Watch the head pin on this shot. Down off the wall in between the 4 and 7, but just catching the 4. Another 9-pin drop for Don Richmond. This is the sister of the one he just missed. This is a 4-pin. He missed the 6-pin last box. Not this time, though. 2 out of 3 boxes. Marks. Eight-pin drop. And a tough spare leave here in the 5 and 9 because of the wood. Either go real low, just catch the wood, or drive it right straight back. And he gets it. Drives it right straight back. And we'll take a short break. In command is Don Richmond. We'll see if Rich Clark can turn up the heat a little bit. Stay with us. Just touching the head pin. This time leaves himself the 2-pin. Spare in the 5th by Rich Clark. Rich does a lot of his bowling at the King Lanes in Manchester and also Boutwell's Bowling Center in Concord, New Hampshire. Just when he thinks Rich is going to break out of it, right through the middle. Spread eagle, just 4 in that spare. Oh, what a try on the spread eagle.
Nice try.
And it's 9 and 64. See a try on that spread eagle. Splits the 2 and the 4. 2-pin in between the 3-6. Takes out the 6, but valiant effort, but no spare to show for it, and that's what he needs. Don Richmond now working on a spare. My! Another 9-pin drop. Forget, he missed a single back in the second box, or he could have 4 marks in a row starting the second game. But even with that, he's 66 through 4. The 10-pin, trying to make it 3 marks in a row. And 4 out of 5, no problem. Light hit that time, just 6. 2, 4, 5, 7. .82 halfway through the second game for Don Richmond. Eight gives him 90 through 6, and in cruise control right now. Four horsemen left, plus a 10 pin. Well, there goes the 4 pin. Nine, and it's 73 for Rich Clark through 7. I think last week I inadvertently said the high single for our show was 193. It was 196. I got Rick Farwell right back in '84, but it was 196, not 193. Highest 3 games ever on Stars and Strikes. Peter Flynn back in '85, 482. $10 for Don, gives him 100. Still well in command, 59 pin advantage over Rich Clark. Really took control of that first game. From the 6th frame on, he marked out all spares. The last one filling it with a strike for the 145, and he's so far has not been challenged since. 1, 2, 9, and 10. Eight, 108 through 8. Round of applause. He dropped that 7 pin, give himself a legitimate spare leave in the 3-6. And he'll make that spare in the 9th. One, 3, and 10 left. Trying to finish with 2 marks in a row would really be a confidence booster going into the 3rd game. Does just that, spare in the 10th. See the replay of that, just splitting the 1 and the 3. Ball carries on down with a 3-pin for the 10. Gives them 110 with the bonus ball to come. Actually, yeah, 110. Another good-looking ball. And 118 and a 231. 2-game total. One, 2, and 10. No wood really to speak of. One next to the 10-pin in the channel. Another one off to the left, but shouldn't enter into the... Actually, the one on the right did help him come out of the channel for the 10-pin. Gives him a spare in the 9th. 118 plus the ball. Watch it come in contact with the wood. And what a 10, 135. And a 2-game total of 280. So in command is Don Richmond. 1 game to go, week number 2, Tri-State Megabucks Tournament of Champions. Stay with us. Don Richmond will get us going in the 3rd and final game. Six, 7, 8, and 10. Nothing is safe down there last week or this week for Don Richmond. Plays the wood effectively for the spare in the 1st, and that's one way of protecting a 49-pin advantage, is to put some more marks up. And what else? A 9-pin drop. The 4-pin. Don Richmond in his ladder was a number 2 seed, defeated Tom Morgan 384-355. several weeks ago, and then defeated George McAllister 373-357 in the championship match to earn his right here on the Tournament of Champions. 2 in a row for Don Richmond. Shows no signs of letting up. Good effort on the 2 and 10. And it's a 9-box. Triangle in the right-hand corner, 6, 9, and 10. Okay, spare up in the 2nd. Used the wood effectively. Was worried about capping the wood, so elected to take all the wood. Not a bad choice. Meanwhile, Don Richmond continues to put the marks on the scoreboard. He's had fills back in the first game of 8, 9, 6, 7, 7, and 10. In the second game, a fill of 9, 8, 9, 6, and 7. That's 3 in a row in this game, and you can see the fills there of 9 and 8. Well, he hasn't made too many mistakes when filling a mark. And thus the reason he's ahead as many as he is. Right back on the head pin. Well, he's going to have to work a little bit here with the 3, 6, and 4, 7. But don't be surprised if he cuts the 3 into this 4, 7. Well, gave it a good run. And 61 through 4. Rich is going to make a run at Don Richmond. It has to be now. He's working on a spare. Drops 8. 2 and 5 left. This is when you have to take a little extra time and really be sure of yourself getting that extra pin. No, as soon as he threw it, he turned around. He knew he had pulled it to the right. Two 4 left for Rich. Spare up on the 4th for Rich. Take a quick scoreboard check. 61 through 4 for Don Richmond. 47 in the ball for Rich Clark. We'll be back with the conclusion of week number 2. That's quite a stat. 2 strikes and 13 spares today, and he still has 6 boxes remaining. 7 and 8. A couple pieces of wood, as you can see. That one furthest up is playable as long as you hit the wood that's in contact with the lane. Goes by that, and oh, just another spare. His 15th mark. Bowling so well, and he gets a 7 box, and people realize that it can happen, even to the best of them. And right now, Don Richmond has been far the best the first 2 weeks of the tournament so far. Rich Clark working on a spare, leaves the ball out to the left. Just 4, 51. There's a big strike. Rich's first strike of the match. Long time coming for Rich. Looks like lane 31 has been very good to him. Spare, spare, and then strike. We'll figure out lane 32. 4-7 for Don Richmond. I think you heard a little moan or groan from Don. Knew as soon as he released the ball that was not going to be on his target. Makes it for a 10. It's kind of a rarity when he throws 3 open frames lately. Rich Clark working on a strike, and I'm sure he's thinking, let me put another one up here and see what happens. Thin hit, but he got the 5-9 left. Got to be sure of the 5-pin. Spare on strike for Rich. (9-10), trying to make it 3 marks in a row. A couple of pieces of wood out in front. Second piece came in contact with the left side, right side wall, and snapped in front of the 10-pin. Never came close to touching it. And I'll give him 107 through 8. So Don Richmond is going to go on for win number 2 in as many weeks, and next week Tim Lipke will be coming in. So it doesn't get any easier for Don Richmond. Crowd is not used to seeing that happen. But we all can relate to that, right? And there's a sign of a true champion right back in the 1-3 pocket. 5 and 8 left. Difficult piece of wood. I have a feeling Don Richmond's going to find a way. And going to be up a little higher. He got it. Didn't think he caught enough of the wood up high, but he found a way. Spare in the 10th. Thought he had to be a little higher, but he had the 5-pin fall into the 8. Kind of strange. 118 plus the bonus ball. He's at 398. Anything 2 pins or more, he'll have another 400 series. And it's 5 and 123 and 403. Strike for Rich Clark in the 9th. Let's take another look at that one. Spare in the 10th. 127. 137 in a bonus ball in the last frame. It's 7 and 144 finishing game for Rich Clark, and a 3-string total of 375. But Don Richmond wins 2 in a row. We'll be back to talk to the bowlers and set up next week's match. Stay with us. Well, welcome back. Week number 2 is in the books. Don Richmond prevails again, 403-375. Runner-up Rich Clark is eased the pain a little bit. Rich, check for $200. Just couldn't seem to get it going early enough.
Yeah, there was a couple that two pinners. If I got them, I think I could have kept the pressure on and missed them. And Donnie threw a great first ball, and that was the difference. And, you know,
who have we got here? These two guys. We're a little short on time.
Son Brandon. This is my 4-year-old daughter Lauren.
Okay, future bowlers, I hope. Rich, I know we're going to see you again. Congratulations, good showing. Just came up a little short today. Rich Clark. Now we see if we can give away some money. $40 on the line. Don Richmond last week a disappointing 4. You heard it. Uh-oh. You're stuck on these 4s. I don't understand this. He has 4 in his mind. He goes 417 last week, 403 today. That's a 3-string total, Don. The guess was 4, and the guess here was 7 for G. Perry of Manchester. You are on a roll, Don. Congratulations.
Thanks, yeah. Well, the ball's working very well, you know, even on a couple of quarter hits here and there, and plenty to shoot at. When you have those opportunities to shoot at, you should score if you hit them.
Yeah, and you're the type of bowler that if you give yourself a break, then you usually cash in on it, and that's a dangerous combination. Next week, Tim Lipke.
Another dangerous combination.
Well, you keep throwing these 400s, I don't know. Congratulations. We'll see you again next week. Tim Lipke will be in. A little short on time for my partner, Doug Brown. I'm Dan Murphy for the entire crew. Join us next week when Don Richmond will try to make it 3 in a row against Tim Lipke. Should be a great one. Thank you.